Hi, this is Jen, and I am going to walk you through the setup of Bristol Ivy's Rumphius Shawl that was included in the May 2024 Club KnitWit box. So this is what is starts on the top of page 3. This is where we start the pattern, and it starts with just a slip knot with the main color. So to make a slip knot, I just made a loop with the yarn, I twist it, and then I pull the working yarn through. So that's the way I make a slip knot. It says to put it on the left hand needle, and then you just snug it up. Okay, so that is the first step. Next step is on the wrong side. It wants us to purl one. We're just going to go, I'm using pointy needles even though this yarn is not really tightly spun because there are a bunch of like knit one through the back loop and things where you do want that pointy needle to get in there. But in this case, we've got our slip knot, and now we're going to purl one. And then we're going to leave that on there, and it says to yarn over twice, and then purl one again. And that's all into the same slip knot. So now we have 4 stitches. Okay, next row is the right side row. It says knit 1, yarn over, and then it says knit 1, purl 1 into the double yarn over. So here's the double yarn over we made on the prior row. So we're going to knit 1 into the first part of that, and then we're going to purl 1 into the second part of that. And then it says to do another yarn over and then knit 1. So in order to knit 1 from this position, I'm not gonna go all the way around and then knit, because that would give me a double yarn over. I've just finished that purl, and now I'm just gonna hold the yarn in front and then do my knit, which means I have to go around to the back and knit like that so that it creates a yarn over. And now we should have 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is going to look a little floppy like this until we really get into it, so don't worry about that. And the final setup row in the pattern, the part that's labeled pattern in the pattern on page 3 says purl 1, yarn over, and then it says slip 1 with yarn in front knitwise. So the yarn's in the front, I'm going to slip 1 knitwise, and then it says to return it to the left hand needle. So I'm going to put it back over there, and basically I've just changed the orientation of that yarn over. And then it says to purl 1 through the front loop. So this is where these pointy needles come in handy, because you got to get under this part of the stitch that you just flipped over. So sometimes you got to like make it a little bigger or something. And then I'm purling through that front loop. Purl to the last 2 stitches. Here we have 2 stitches left. It says purl 1 through the back loop. So to purl through the back loop, we're going to go back here and grab the back of this stitch. See, it's right back here. And we're going to purl it. Then it says to yarn over and to purl 1. Okay, so that's the first little section. Now we're going back to the right side, and now I'm going to walk you through the setup chart. So you can either read this from the chart that's in the pattern on page 3, or it's just 6 rows. It's right under the beginning section on page 3. It says setup, or see setup chart. So we're just gonna walk through it here. First row says knit 1. 1, yarn over, knit one through the back loop. So that is coming back here. Sorry, knit one this way, I'm sorry. Knit one through the back loop looks like this. This was if I wanted to purl through the back loop, we'd go that way. But we've yarned over, so, and now we're knitting one through the back loop. So we're just kind of sliding into the back leg of this stitch. And then, sometimes I must have split the yarn a little bit. All right, we'll try that one more time. Into here. If it doesn't pull out nicely, it usually means you've split the yarn. So now I've got 3 stitches after all that. And sometimes you have to give them a little jiggle to get them up there and get them in the right spot. Okay, so we've done a knit one, yarn over, knit one through the back loop. Now we're going to knit to the last 2 stitches. There we go, 2 stitches left. And it says, now we're going to do that thing again where we flip the orientation of the stitch. So it says slip one with yarn in back, knitwise, which means we go this way, return it to the left hand needle, and knit one through the front loop. So this is grabbing, the front loop is the one facing you here. We're going to grab it and knit. And then it says to do a yarn over and one more knit. There we go. That's row 1 of the setup chart. Okay, row 2 on the wrong side. It says to purl 1, yarn over, slip 1 with yarn in front knitwise and return it to the left hand needle, and purl 1 through the front loop right there. And then it says to purl to the last 2 stitches. Okay, 2 stitches left, and it says to purl 1 through the back loop. So this is where you got to go and grab the back part of this stitch right there and purl it. And then we're going to yarn over and purl 1. Okay, that's row 2. Row 3, we're back on the right side. So this is what we've got so far here. All right, a little bit more going on in row 3. So in row 3, it says to knit 1. And you'll notice as you go through this pattern that, especially, maybe in all the sections, but especially in these main color sections, like the first 3 and last 3 stitches of every row are exactly the same. So you will get, and sometimes they're they look different because sometimes you're on the right side and the wrong side, but you will get used to those 3 stitches where you're twisting that stitch and then doing a yarn over and a knit 1 or a purl 1 on the end. All right, so we're on row 3 here. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 1 through the back loop, okay, and this time it says to purl 2, and then knit 2 together, which looks like this. We got 2 stitches. We're going to just knit them as if they were 1. And then it says to yarn over twice, so we come around twice. Slip, slip, knit. So we slip them as if to knit. Slip, slip, and then we slide them back over here to the left needle, and then we're going to knit through those two stitches together. It just makes the decrease lean the other way. So one is leaning to the right and one is leaning to the left. And then it says to purl 2 more. And then we're going to flip the stitch around here. So it says slip 1 with yarn in back knitwise, return it to the left hand needle, and knit 1 through the front loop. Yarn over, knit 1. Okay, that's row 3. Row 4 says purl 1, yarn over, slip 1 with yarn in front knitwise, return it to the left hand needle, and purl 1 through the front loop. And then it says to purl 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it says to knit 1, purl 1 into the double yarn over. So to knit, we bring our yarn to the back, and here's our double yarn over. See, they're not really attached to things below it. It's going to make this nice big eyelet hole for us. So we're going to knit 1 and then purl 1 into that double yarn over. And then it says to purl 4. Purl 1 through the back loop, yarn over, purl 1. All right, we're almost through the setup. Row 5. All right, row 5 has got a couple of twist stitches. It's got a 1x1 right twist and a 1x1 left twist. I'm going to demonstrate these without using a cable needle, but if you would like to use a cable needle, the directions are written out in the pattern on, let's see, on page 1, where you actually slip and hold your stitches on a cable needle instead of just what I'm going to do here. This will make it go much faster, and these stitches won't really run away on you because the yarn is a little grabby. So let's see, row 5, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1 through the back loop, all right, now we're going to purl 4, all right, now we've got a 1x1 left twist. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to switch the orientation of these 2 stitches. We're going to twist them, and we want it to be a left leaning twist. So we want this first stitch is going to be on top, and that's exactly what it looks like in the chart. So it'll make it a little easier to remember. But if you're going to do this without a cable needle, the way we do it is we just change the order of the stitches before we knit them on this side. I'll show you the other one in a minute. But what that means is we're going to come in through the back side here. I'm going to grab this second stitch from the back. I'm going to go right into there. See how I'm got that stitch on the needle on the back side. Now I'm going to pop both those needles off. So this stitch is just kind of hanging out there. I wouldn't like put it down at this stage or anything, but that needle you can just put your left needle right into there, and then you're going to put this second stitch back on your needle. But we've oriented it such that we can just leave that needle in there, and purl it. And then the next stitch is a knit stitch. Now we're going to go the opposite way here. This time we want to do a 1 by 1 right cross. So this second stitch needs to come to the front, and we're going to knit it. And the way I like to do this one, I like to just leave them on here and do them in the order that they're presented, and not take them off until we get to the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a second stitch that I want to knit and I want to be in front, and I'm just going to grab it right there. See, I've got that. That's the second stitch. I've grabbed it from the left to the right as if I'm going to knit it, because I am. Okay, right there. And then I'm going to knit it, but I'm going to leave it on there. And then I'm going to come around, bring my yarn to the front, and I'm going to purl the other stitch that was in front of it. I'm just changing their order, going across the row. And then when I pull them both off, their order has been changed. So you can see there that what we've done is we've taken this row of knit stitches and we've kind of we leaned to the right around the hole, and we went up a row, and then we leaned back to the left to close it up. So it makes this really pretty little eyelet. Okay, continuing on row 5, we have purl 4. Just finish out the row. And then we're going to slip 1 with yarn in back, knitwise, return it to the left hand needle, and knit 1 through the front loop. You see what I do here is I kind of help this make this loop a little bigger by pulling it over with my finger, so I can get my needle in there without it splitting too much. So knitting through the back loop, yarn over, knit 1. All right, there's our pretty eyelet. Okay, and the last row here, it's a nice easy one after all those. It says repeat row 2, which said knit 1, purl 1, yarn over, slip 1 knitwise with yarn in front, return it to the left hand needle, and purl 1 through the front loop. Okay, and then purl to the last 2 stitches. Now there's the last 2 stitches. Let's see, it says purl 1 through the back loop. Yarn over, purl 1. Okay, that is it for the setup, or the setup chart, whichever way you followed that. That's what it should look like at this point, and we should have 20 stitches on there. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. There we go, 20 stitches, just like that. Now, for those of you who are following along, and I'm going to send out some sort of little tutorial or explanation of the pattern, probably weekly for you. What I want you to do now is continue on through the seed pod section. So you're going to basically complete page 3. Seed pods is more of this. There's nothing new in the seed pod that I haven't demonstrated already. It just gets bigger. So go through that, and next week I will send you what we're going to do with our first contrast color and start putting the lupines in this. So that's it for today. Hope that clears up some of it. Thanks.